Okay, welcome guys. Okay, thank you for attending. This lesson is on the classroom lesson for International Friendship Day. Date Wednesday, 5th April 2017. 1:30 p.m. to 2:10 p.m. Okay. What's interesting is that okay. These are the lesson objectives. Encourage students to see the importance of ASEAN for the continued economic prosperity and stability of the region and Singapore. This lesson is basically to tell our students or to teach our students the importance of ensuring a strong and stable ASEAN. Okay, what does ASEAN stand for? ASEAN stands for Association of Southeast Asian Nations. This is the regional grouping that is found in Southeast Asia. Okay, this lesson is also to help students gain a deeper appreciation of regional cooperation. Now, the interesting thing about Southeast Asia is that we seem to have the idea that there is the EU, European Union, there is NAFTA for the North American Treaty Organizations, but for Southeast Asia, we don't seem to have enough of a regional cooperation, but we already do have them. A number of years ago, we had a few very brave foreign ministers, all right, among Southeast Asia who came together and decided to form a regional cooperation. Okay? All right. Another objective of this lesson is to recognize how our active foreign policy has enabled us to maintain our space and have good relations with neighboring countries. So what it basically means is that, all right, just like the European Union, the ASEAN Regional Cooperation Forums, these regional corporations ensure that countries in Southeast Asia work together closely. All right? Okay, I'm going to play a small game now. I'm going to ask the two of you to come over to the front. Okay? Can you help me to bring the balloon over there? Yes, just one balloon. Okay, these are the instructions to the game. All right? Stand in a circle, that will be including me, maybe I'll come, or maybe the three of us here. Stand in a circle, 5 to 6, holding hands. The any rep drops one balloon into the circle. The goal is to see how many times you can tap the balloon into the air, using your hands, arms, head, shoulders, chest or knees, but no feet. Keeping it up in the air without losing connection. All students, you must continue holding hands. In order for this to work effectively, you have to work cooperatively, making sure you are not letting go of your neighbor's hands. If the balloon falls to the ground, we begin again. Got the idea? Okay, shall we try it out now? I shall close this so that minutes. What's the reason why this game teaches cooperation? What does this game teach?
Because there are limitations.
Limitations, good. Okay.
Yeah, you can't move so much.
Yes, correct. So in that sense, in the same way, in an economic forum or even in ASEAN itself, all countries have got their different interests, right? And so as a result, countries, when they come together, they have to work together, just like how you all were giving plans, ideas, in order for a cooperation to succeed. And ASEAN, remember ASEAN has got so many different types of neighbors, so many different types of countries and cultures, it's even harder. And yet they have managed to build quite a strong regional forum, regional forum. Okay? So, you were giving the, remember, I think, was it you or you? I can't remember. You said, instead of doing this, maybe we can do this. So, it's about trust. We trusted each other to give good ideas. And that comes with coming together as a regional forum or as a regional bloc to to ensure that there is stability, prosperity, and to make sure that our goals are achieved together through teamwork and negotiation. Got the idea? Okay, I think we can play the game for about 5 minutes, shall we say?
Okay.
Huh? Okay, can Thank you. That's it. For the game finished. Now to the lesson proper. Yeah? Okay, thank you. All right.
So this activity, when I have it in class, so
Yes.
it's not really very long.
I think I suggest for this activity, you take maybe about 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes for this activity. Okay, for this activity to work, we take maybe about 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, okay. Okay, next bit. How does the game demonstrate the importance of negotiation and teamwork? All right. Can you all see that here I've given a blank slide? That's because I want you to, just like just now, I was asking for what does the game show about regional blocks and about working cooperatively. I want you to get your students, your classmates to do the same thing, to suggest ideas. Okay. So, but there's also answers. So here the answer is the importance of developing skills in negotiation and teamwork. So working together as a team, trusting each other. The balloon game replicates the work of ASEAN in getting diverse countries. We all are diverse people. I'm a woman, you are men. But yet we have to work together. Just like how ASEAN with Indonesia, Philippines, so many different cultures coming together to work together. All right? Okay, I'm going to show you this video now. So now we are watching the video.
It's on track to be the fourth largest economy by 2050. With a population greater than Europe, it has the third largest labor force in the world. 67 million households are currently part of the consuming class. This could double to 125 million by 2025. And ASEAN member states are collectively home to the world's second largest community of Facebook users. Inter-regional trade, as a share of the economy, is less than half that of NAFTA and the EU. This could deepen significantly with the ASEAN Economic Community. The AEC aims to boost regional trade and production, delivering freer movement of goods, services, skilled labour and capital. ASEAN includes 227 of the world's companies with more than $1 billion in revenues, or 3% of the world's total. Government debt is under 50% of GDP, far lower than the 90% share in the United Kingdom or 105% in the United States. ASEAN is the fourth largest exporting region in the world, trailing only the EU, the USA and China. ASEAN is a diverse group. The difference in average incomes over the member states is 7 times that of the EU. By sharing a common focus on jobs and prosperity, and by creating a seamless regional market and production base, ASEAN could prove to be the case in which the whole actually does exceed the sum of its parts.
Okay, we have just watched some of the things that ASEAN is capable of, all right, in terms of growth and development, in terms of its economic possibilities, in terms of the fact that because it has got quite a large population, okay, and who are increasingly becoming more and more globalized, okay, who demand for goods and services. So there is a lot of opportunity for economic prosperity, but only if they work together through ASEAN and through AEC, the ASEAN Economic Cooperation Forum. Okay, so I have got some discussion questions here. What is the importance of ASEAN? What are some of the challenges that ASEAN faces in this multipolar world? All right. what I would like you all to do now is to get into groups of about 4. Alright, in each of that group, alright, this first 2 groups here, you will do question number 1. This group, the group 3rd and 4th group, you will do question number 2. All you have to do is to write down, choose one person as your presenter, etc., and write down the points of discussion coming from your classmates. I'm going to give you about 5 minutes to do this activity. You get mahjong papers. Okay, sorry, the answer, that's not a correct term. Maybe what you can do is get foolscap papers or plain papers from your teachers for each of the groups. Okay, together with markers from your teachers, and then give it to each of the students. Alright? Okay? Okay. So what it means is that there's any reps, you will have to go and tell your teachers that you need mahjong plain papers, A3 size. Right? Okay. So give the students about 5 minutes to discuss. Now, be prepared. When it comes to group work, you have to be quite firm with them. What you have to do is to tell them that they have to form groups of 4 to 5. They have to have a presenter and a group leader. The group leader organizes the points, the presenter and writes it down, the presenter presents to the class. You can have it as a kind of like a class discussion or through the visualizer. Okay? As the students are discussing, I would like you all to just walk around. They may ask questions. Be prepared for some questions. Okay? So, for example, what kind of questions they may ask? Students may ask questions like, for example, what does multipolar mean? Multipolar means that there are so many different groups, alright, within this world that have got different alliances and different interests and national interests. ASEAN is just one group, but there is EU, there's African Union, a lot of different trade groupings, etc. Alright, so that's the meaning of the word multipolar. So give students some time to discuss, about 5 minutes or so. Alright, once they are done with that, alright, tell them all, class, can you all turn around, face me, presenter, be prepared to present. You have to sound a bit strict, but not too strict. Okay, these are your classmates. So then, what happens? The students will give you some responses. So maybe we will pretend. Let's hear from Kai. You will answer question number 1, and you, my dear, question number 2. Okay? All right. For question number 1, what is the importance of ASEAN, you think?
ASEAN gives the regional platform to most Southeast Asian countries who are it's an economic platform for some of the countries to enter the global market.
Economic platform. Good. Yes.
So from small countries like Singapore, who has a small domestic market, through ASEAN is able to get access to the global market as well for them.
Singapore has a small market. Through ASEAN, our market becomes bigger. Through ASEAN, our market becomes bigger. Yes. Question number 2. For question number 2, the question is, what are some of the challenges ASEAN faces?
Challenges in a multipolar world. Every different countries, there are different targets, there are different goals, and there are different views about the world as well.
Good.
All this can
Yeah.
set up different limitations for each country.
Yes. And all this sets up limitations. Everyone has got different goals. Okay. So in that sense, yes, good. You all see how this helps? Write down the answers as your presenters are talking. Okay? All right. Okay, I have some answers as well, just in case. All right. One of it is that why is ASEAN important? Because it's a consumer hub of 125 million people. It's a huge market, ASEAN. And then it's set to grow like NAFTA. NAFTA is the North American Free Trade Agreement, okay? And it's set to grow with the implementation of AEC, ASEAN Economic Community, which is also a regional platform for us, economic platform to share ideas, to expand our trade within ASEAN. Okay? What are some of the challenges that ASEAN faces? That challenges like great power rivalries, for example, one of our bigger challenges now would be that America wants to withdraw from the region, from the South China Sea, from this region itself. China is laying claim to some of the islands in the South China Sea. So there's this fear that both America and China may collide with one another, thus affecting ASEAN, thus affecting our economic prosperity. So ASEAN then becomes even more important. In a way, we sort of like act as a kind of a voice to ensure that both America and China behave. All right? Okay. Other problems that ASEAN faces, protectionism. All of us want to protect our own industries. No, even though it might be inefficient and competition might be good for them, but because of protectionism, we decide that we want to protect our own industry. You know, protectionism, it's not only just within ASEAN. You can find it. You can also find it in America. For example, the car industry in America. All right. General Motors, President Trump wants to ensure that the car industry that cars are being made and manufactured in America itself, and that has quite a lot of implications for protectionism, for trade barriers, for growth, etc. All right, okay. This thing about leadership vacuum in the region. Okay, that in ASEAN itself, remember we did have one of the most unstable regions a number of years ago with Vietnam War, the Cambodian War, etc. Although now things are much better, but Indonesia is going through some upheavals now. So there are a bit of worry in terms of leadership vacuum in the region. Indonesia, for a long time, ASEAN looked up to Indonesia as a kind of like a de facto leader, because it is the largest country, right, in this region, Southeast Asian region. But Indonesia seems to be going through some problems now. Okay. Other challenges for ASEAN now would be economic and political stability in the region. All right. So these are just some of the concerns. The concern that America feels that TPP, for example, ships our jobs away. So they don't want to increase trade with ASEAN, with Asia, etc. They want to do away with TPP. All right. In fact, they have already done away with TPP. Okay. They want to, everything has to be done in US of A. Got the idea? Okay. To help you to understand why ASEAN wants trade deals, take the example of EU and NAFTA. What do trade agreements do? What are the pros and cons, advantages? One of the advantages, it increases economic growth. You have a more dynamic business climate. So, for example, local industries have become stagnant. When you don't have competition, what happens is that you become complacent and you become stagnant and not competitive. And China waits, and China is very competitive. So, if you don't come together, you risk your local markets becoming more stagnant. So the benefit of a trade agreement is to allow for competition and dynamism. Got the idea? Another benefit, it also lowers government spending. Many governments subsidize local industry. When these are removed after the trade agreement, funds can be put to better use. So inefficient industries can be done away with, and more efficient industries can come into being. So, for example, there's also some talk about Thailand, the growth of the car industry in Thailand. But now with in Trump's America, that seems to be a bit of a iffy situation. All right, foreign direct investment, they will flock to the country and give capital to expand local industries and boost domestic businesses. Also brings in much needed US dollars to many formerly isolated countries. So countries like Vietnam, Cambodia, formerly isolated, now if let's say you have increased economic cooperation, these formerly isolated countries will have much needed US dollars. Okay? Expertise, global companies will bring in expertise in mining, oil drilling and manufacturing. In fact, for example, there's also some talk of ASEAN not only just dealing with America, but also with Russia. Russia has got quite good oil drilling capacities, research, etc. Okay, so you have expertise, free training to local businesses and technology transfer. Got the idea? Are you all okay with this? Okay. Are there any questions so far? You don't have to go so in detail. The students can read it for themselves. I don't think you will have the time, so you may want to just concentrate on just one or two of this. All right? Go and look for examples. Examples work best. All right? Okay. Disadvantages. Yeah, of course you have got some disadvantages. Like for example, America, why they are so unhappy about trade agreements is that General Motors and the car industry of America feel that it's better that cars are made in America, all right, rather than ship foreign cars into American soil. Okay, and then of course other disadvantages, poor working conditions. Okay, I'm going to ask you to take about 10 minutes to read this article. As you're reading the article, okay, you will find that you get to know the importance of having free trade. Can I ask you for about 5-10 minutes to just quickly read through the article? Okay. Do give students time to digest the article. So you have to plan your presentation in such a way you give them enough time to read this article. Okay? In summary, this article talks about the Trans-Pacific Partnership, all right, but all is not lost. Mr. Trump has promised, in your third paragraph, Mr. Trump has promised to withdraw US from joining the Trans-Pacific Partnership, a free trade pact, and he has called for the US to even renegotiate NAFTA with Canada and Mexico. Okay? But the US is going, what they will find is that the US is going to suffer because, in a way, that trade pact will account for more than 40% of the world's GDP and leave the door open for China, for the China-backed Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, RCEP, China-backed Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, a trade deal pioneered by ASEAN and its free trade agreement partners. So if TPP dies, the Trans-Pacific Partnership dies, okay, there is also RCEP. But the problem is why we want both RCEP and TPP. ASEAN wants both because what happens is that it expands our networking for trade. It gives us more opportunities. Okay, there's a problem when China, with the fact that China is not so committed to open trading system. It has to also protect its own industry and its own people. Okay, so one can only hope that the US comes back to the table. Okay, it will try to extract bigger concessions Alright, but Singapore need not fret, as it can still rely on other free trade agreements that it has with most of the TPP members and ASEAN. So that's why it's so important we continue with ASEAN. Why is ASEAN so important to Singapore? Well, if TPP and America and China fails, we know that we are in safe hands with our region, ASEAN. Got the idea? ASEAN, in a way, we need ASEAN, ASEAN needs us. We all need each other. Remember the balloon game where we needed each other to keep the balloon in air? That's what the diplomacy and ASEAN is all about. Okay. So basically, give them some time to think about the importance of ASEAN, free trade, etc. After which, I used to think, now I think. Students are to share with their class their thinking on the role of ASEAN in the continued economic prosperity of Singapore and the region. You know, do you all remember the I used to think, now I think routine? Okay, so what I suggest you do, again we do the classroom, we do whiteboard. Give students about 2 minutes to discuss, 2 to 3 minutes to discuss among themselves, maybe with their partners. Alright? Okay? And then we do this. I used to think, now I think. Okay, everyone will get the article. Alright, this article. Okay, that's all. They will only be given this article. Most probably they will get it on the day of the lesson. Alright. Another option is for me. What do you all think? Okay. Okay. Once students have finished reading the article, alright, we are going to use the I used to think, now I think routine. I used to think, now I think. I suggest that you give students about 5 minutes to discuss this aspect. I used to think about ASEAN, what I used to think about ASEAN, the role of ASEAN, and what I now think after this lesson. Give them about 5 minutes to do this activity. Okay? Okay, let's pretend that 5 minutes has passed. What did I used to think? What did you used to think about ASEAN? Anyone?
ASEAN, I thought it was not so developed, it doesn't have a voice.
Good. Not so developed
In world issues.
in world issues. Okay. But now I know that they do have a voice, yes, because of their consumer base and their market potential. Okay. Another answer? What did I used to think about ASEAN?
What was the first one again?
The first one was not so developed, that ASEAN was not so developed in world issues.
I guess I could say that ASEAN. I used to think that ASEAN wasn't a very effective, economic platform.
Not a very economic, not a very effective, yes.
But I guess now, after at least seeing the video, I realized that it became quite huge.
Yes.
Like the EU, US, China.
Correct. It's quite a huge market potential because of the proximity to China, yes. To China, and then also access to American markets. Okay, European markets. Got it? Yes. So basically get students to come up with this kind of ideas on how ASEAN and the ASEAN's economic forums help in developing stability and economic prosperity for the region as a whole. Okay. Once we have finished with this, you are going to next introduce students or in a way to recap that ASEAN actually plays a very important role in Singapore and the region. Okay? But you must also then tell them that this, in your next, on Friday, 7th of April, okay, they are going to attend a ASEAN Economic Forum, alright, AEC, where our history students will be looking at how important it is that the importance of ASEAN in the growth of trade and regionalism. Okay, so at the end of this whole thing, okay, at the end of the lesson, you need to write down your questions to field to any of the country delegates. So for example, let's say for example, maybe you guys have got some questions for China in terms of trade deals, or some questions for America. Why is it that you decided not to go ahead with the Trans-Pacific deal, TPP? Or you may have some questions for, say for example, Singapore. How do you think you can contribute to the general economic prosperity of the region? So do write down some of your friends' questions. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is that I'm going to get all the NE reps to answer a survey. All right, a survey, and part of the survey will be some of the questions that you are going to, your classmates want to ask the delegates at the International Friendship Day Forum. Got the idea now? Are you all okay? All right, we have come to the end of the lesson. Thank you very much.